we had a country that was laughed at. They laughed at us. 2 years ago, they laughed at us. They thought we were fools. They thought we were stupid people. Now we're seeing that they're not the smart ones, we are. But we have a great America, and we're going to enrich it. And foreign nations, foreign migrants, criminal fraudsters, and corrupt politicians are not going to play a role anymore. They're going to be in jail. Under the Trump administration, we're reclaiming America's dignity, rebuilding America's wealth, and we're putting the productive, hardworking American citizen at the center of every single thing that we do.
What's the end game?
The end game is to win. I like winning.
How do you define that in Iran?
Well, let's define it in Venezuela. Let's define it with al-Baghdadi. He was wiped out. Let's define it with Soleimani. And let's define it in Iran, where he wiped out their Iran nuclear threat. They want to have protests. That's one thing. When they start killing thousands of people, and now you're telling me about hanging, we'll see how that works out for them. It's not going to work out good. We're building more plants in the country than we've ever built. There's no inflation. You saw the inflation numbers. Inflation's very low.
Seems bad.
Wait a minute. Our growth numbers are through the roof. Our job numbers are tremendous. We have the highest stock market we've ever had. I've created the greatest economy maybe in history, and you're seeing that now. In AI, we're leading China by a lot. We're leading China by a tremendous amount. We're leading everybody at everything. I would bet you that she, under normal circumstances, was a very solid, wonderful person, but her actions were pretty tough. But the bottom line is, look, we have hundreds of thousands of murderers in our countries, killers. ICE is trying to get them out. Their job is being made very, very difficult. I inherited a mess of crime. I inherited a mess of inflation. I inherited a mess of places closing up and going to other countries. And now we have the hottest country in the world. Our country is rocketing right now. We have the hottest country in the world. If they got in, we would be Venezuela on steroids.
To all ICE officers, you have federal immunity in the conduct of your duties. And anybody who lays a hand on you or tries to stop you or tries to obstruct you is committing a felony. You have immunity to perform your duties, and no one, no city official, no state official, no illegal alien, no leftist agitator or domestic insurrectionist can prevent you from fulfilling your legal obligations and duties. And the Department of Justice has made clear that if officials cross that line into obstruction, into criminal conspiracy against the United States or against ICE officers, then they will face justice.
On the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day, and damn straight. Says, what's up? We've got this very interesting thing that kind of dawned on me. That's the thumbnail, really. But if you kind of look at how this is playing out, right? We've got, right now, Trump, us, United States, but us, I would say the ripplers and the people that are awake and whatever, you know, break that into however you want. But those of us that are actively involved in helping, we're helping round up terrorists, cheats, criminals, but like all the deep state people, if you think about it, right? All of the workers for them. Right now we've got some of the progressive side freaking out about the immigration thing. There are a lot of the ones that are part of Antifa and a lot of this nonsense. These are the ones that we're seeing drawn into this. And one should wonder, was that done intentionally? Was this always the goading? Because I feel like this is like, I don't know, they've been trying to get something to happen that gets people fired up, that demonstrates the ridiculousness. And it looks like it happened in Minnesota again, where all this fraud's happening. Huh. Strange how that happens. Who are we bringing to the surface? We're going to talk about Walls in big trouble, huge trouble. We've got a whole bunch of stuff there. We've got some wild west going on. California being crazy stupid. Again, I know, not a surprise, but... Got some karma being paid back to some people, though. You might enjoy a couple of these stories here. We got a bank right now is suing former mayor, Chicago mayor, Lori Lightfoot. You guys remember her? She was definitely not light on her feet. And, oh, my God, one of the worst. The dude now is so much better, but still incompetent. And, Chicago seems to hate their mayor. She was not well liked, and the dude in there now is, I think, less liked. So they're batting 1,000, controlling the city, all the places that are deep blue. But J.P. Morgan Chase, they're suing her. She's apparently got an $11,000 credit card bill that's gone unpaid for 17 months. And they thought that they were just gonna write it off, apparently. But looks like Chase isn't gonna write it off anymore. Again, it's not a lot of money, but when it bites you in the butt. A teen was accused of torching Mississippi synagogue. He posted some gruesome selfies because he burnt the hell out of himself. Feel bad about that at all? Nope. God, burns hurt too. Oof, horrible. Starbucks barista, he drew a pig on the individual's cup here. This is even in California, up in L.A. And, yeah, they got fired.
Starbucks says it has fired the employee who served an L.A. County Sheriff's deputy with a coffee cup featuring a drawing of a pig. A Starbucks spokesperson says the employee did not intend to insult the deputy by drawing that doodle, which was intended to reference the popular online meme John Pork as a lighthearted gesture to their coworkers. The spokesperson says the employee drew the image before the deputy arrived and did not intend to serve him with that cup, but the worker was let go anyway. The sheriff's department has called that incident offensive and unacceptable.
Yeah, one thing I've kind of learned is if you go too terribly deep, because I love jokes that are deep. You got to there's a layer that you got to even get through before you'll even get the joke. And so I love that. But the problem is a lot of people don't like those because they're just too much, right? So when you have a super deep concept, and you're just putting it in a text message with 8 words, but in your head, it's like a paragraph. Understand they will never, 100% of the time, will never understand unless you've got serious psycho connection to them, in a good way, I guess. All set. Nonetheless. And this guy, Timothy Busfield, turns himself into police, promises to fight child sex abuse accusations. He's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I probably touched kids inappropriately on set. So, anyway, this stuff's coming forth. I've been seeing a lot of stories. I certainly don't pull them all up. I've seen so many stories of people getting busted for child stuff, child porn, some certainly trafficking, some stories. I usually try to share those because I feel like that's a larger catch, if you will. But, even sometimes where they'll bust a person or two that was trying to meet somebody. God, people getting busted all over. So this is something that is closing down as an energetic, if you will, on this planet, which I think is what makes it super cool. It's actually changing. We're literally changing. This is how you change stuff. You can't mandate people behave a certain way, but when enough people start to think a certain way, that becomes the right way to be. And anyway, get lost in that. Jonathan Turley posted this, which is very interesting. He's referring to Bill Clinton and it's probably soon to be Hillary not showing up for the questioning in regards to Epstein. There's so many stories about Hillary too, supposedly. That's, I think, the one, the cave in the face, the Wilson thing, that whole story. If you know it, you know it. If you don't, Jonathan Turley, he says, I am baffled by the legal strategy. Indeed, I see no intelligible legal strategy at all in effectively saying that, quote, we simply do not feel like it, end quote. Very funny. And again, this is the Clintons, the deep state. What, everybody else has to come in except you? Why is that? I don't know what's up. Well, shut up, Bill. Sir, I'm sorry I made you ask. There was a crazy person that was saying that. He was telling us to shut up. If you talked at all, even to each other, he's like, shut up, man, just shut up. He was crazy. And then I stopped talking, and he would start asking me questions. Yeah, what do you think, you're something or something? I was just like, well, what is it? Don't talk or do talk. You can't have it both ways. Even if you're crazy, you got to have some sort of standards. Needless to say, it didn't go well. But, yeah, I mean, we got out of there alive. He was distracted by something else, and we're like, boogie. Trump flips off mouths. Fuck you. We're gonna play this because this is my president. Someone's calling him the pedophile protector or something, and he mouths, just to let you know, because some of you may not be lip readers or even able to look at your screen, but he mouths twice, which for those that are hard to hear, it's fuck you. It's just mouthed. Yeah, it was or said in parentheses, possibly. Maybe he said something, but nothing came out, right? Who knows? Could have been. And then he actually throws the bird, which, awesome. I love this dude. Now, needless to say, that guy was put on leave that shouted that. He's like, I'm proud of myself for doing it. All right, well, that's not, it's not good for your job. So there we go. There was that. Especially when this dude's bringing a whole bunch of money back to the company in the big way. And Ford's, I'm sure there's something this dude's done wrong in the past 4 seconds that is fireable, because everybody does. You stole a paperclip. That's theft. We have pictures of it right here. So it's like, damn. Stephen Miller, he's got a lot to say, of course. I mean, come on. Hope it doesn't stop, frankly. He was on Laura Ingraham, though. They're talking about this crazy leadership going on in Minnesota.
Absolutely it is, Laura. You can use the term insurgency. You can use the term insurrection. You can use the term domestic terrorism. Mayor Jacob Fry, Governor Tim Walz, Attorney General Keith Ellison have deliberately, willfully, and purposefully incited this violent insurrection, this violent insurgency against immigration and customs enforcement, against Border Patrol. When you have mayors and state leaders saying that they're going to order the federal government, order federal law enforcement out of their city in order to maintain enclaves of criminal illegal aliens and criminal refugees who are looting and pillaging the state and the American people, when you have them effectively banning the city police and the state police from rendering life-saving aid to ICE officers, from rendering necessary protection and support to the federal government when it is under siege and carrying out these operations, that is a direct assault and attack on the federal government. And let's understand this. Why is ICE there? In addition to its obligation in every city, in every state, in every territory to uphold our nation's immigration laws, in addition to and beyond that, Minneapolis is a sanctuary city. It is a sanctuary state in Minnesota that has adopted a criminal policy of shielding and harboring illegal aliens and terrorists. And furthermore, we have uncovered a massive scandal run by Somali refugees to steal tens of billions of dollars from the federal treasury. So this entire scheme, all of these domestic terrorists hurling themselves in front of ICE officers, trying to prevent these actions from taking place, engaging in these trained insurgent tactics to try to stop federal enforcement from taking place, is to protect a Somali criminal refugee population that is looting and pillaging the federal treasury.
Stephen.
And that's a big part of what this is. They're literally stirring up a riot in the place where the investigation needs to happen in order to cover up the crime. This is awesome. Now, Trump, I mean, obviously he's going to do something at some point, and it'll probably put a stop to things quickly, and people are going to get deported heavily because of all the crime anyways. Tell me how many Somalis, no offense, are probably going to be involved in this on the streets. Granted, there's a lot of white people currently. See a lot of that. But anyways, your standard Antifa thugs, your pay-to-play folks out there. We're getting there. We're getting there, folks. It's all coming down. I want you guys to know about this. First off, we're going to be doing something cool next Thursday. I was talking with the guys I work with, if you will. Two gentlemen. They're awesome. We're going to do, for the people that are involved in this, first off, otfspecial.com, otfspecial.com. This is that whole Feel Great thing. Incredible product. We're going to share the same video I've done recently, but it's just testimonials. We've got some just people are loving this product. I am too. I am loving it. The packs, it gives you energy. It helps with not eating. It's just a whole bunch of things. And people that are having blood sugar questions or blood sugar issues, or in a lot of cases, insulin resistance, which many of us have, 94% of us apparently. But it affects the way we process sugars. Our bodies sometimes get weird with them. The insulin doesn't properly spike up the way it should because it's kind of just tired of always being stressed out with sugar. We eat too much of it, folks. So there's a lot going on. People trying to lose weight. Here we go. There's a lot of people that have literally been losing weight. And that's the thing. You're doing it in slow pace. You're doing it. You're getting your blood sugar levels down. Your A1C numbers are coming lower. And actually, there's doctors taking people off insulin. You don't change anything. You don't do any diets. You literally just put this delicious tasting powder in water and drink it, which we all need to drink more water anyway. And you are on your way. The Unicity, it's awesome. The one I love personally is lemon. It tastes just like, I swear to God, lemon flavored iced tea. I just think it's delicious. These one packet, tear it in. Little mixer thing they got, super red. But then you got Balance, which you'll do at the end of the day. So you do this twice during the day, and then the balance you do before your meal at night. And you can find yourself fasting 16 hours very easily. You're also getting some fiber in with the balance. It helps kind of fill your stomach a little bit. Also helps kind of move things through the system, if you know what I mean. It's a win-win. And what it also does is helps your body process the carbs a little differently. Not as much of that's going to make it into your blood sugar. More of that's going to be digested properly. And your body's going to start to learn how to behave better. It works amazingly well. Literally, hear this lady, Claudia, talking about it, please. Now, you might have a hard time understanding. She's got one of them accents, but you know she's smart because of it.
When I was age 50, I woke up one morning and I literally fell when I tried to stand up. And it was myasthenia gravis. They had to put me on heavy doses of steroids, and they almost killed me. And that made me diabetic. So for 23 years, I was type 2. During that first couple of years, it was really rough because I did have to have oxygen a number of times. I couldn't move. All I wanted to do was sleep. And I think that was a lot of depression too, just wanting to escape. And so I decided to try Unicity. I started on it in October of 22. By April, my A1C had gone to 5.1, and I had lost 48 pounds. It did give me a new lease on life. I have more energy, I feel better about myself. Now, I get up and I move. I go out and visit friends. I'm off all my medicine now. So I really don't know where I would be today without Unicity. It changed my life.
Yeah, and it does. And I'm not trying to oversell, it just does. It is, especially for so much of the population that has diabetes tap dancing around it for whatever reasons, try this product. Don't do anything different. Just try the product, do it the 3 times a day, and go about your normal business. And you will be surprised at how well it works. OTFspecial.com, OTFspecial.com. And like I said, this coming Thursday, not tomorrow, but next week, next Thursday, we will be doing a Zoom meeting, and I'll link it probably in the video the day before. It's the only place I'll put it out there probably, and it'll be like the day before. And it'll be a link to that meeting that's for people that are part of the OTF special thing already. You're already a customer, if you will. You're already trying a product and using the product. And this is about those of you that actually want to maybe have your own ability to advertise. Or if you're somebody like there's a good friend out there right now that I know is already kind of in this. It might be a good place where you can possibly ask some questions if you've got some. But these gentlemen are awesome, so I'm going to host a little Zoom meeting. It's not going to be broadcast by any stretch of the imagination. I don't even, maybe I'll do a local recording, we'll see. But it'll be fun to hang out. All said, if you want to, well, it's not a hangout, it's to talk about the product, frankly, and see if you want to have your own link, you know, like OTFspecial.com. I mean, if you're doing podcasts or anything like that, highly recommend you consider. If you're doing any of the Substack type stuff, right? Any of that writing stuff. You can have advertisers, can't you? So having a link's kind of a nice thing. You know, you can, it's harder to maybe put a spin on it with words, but it can be done, I'm sure. You guys are good with the words. So all said, it's an amazing product. It's going to change your life. OTFspecial.com, OTFspecial.com. Certainly check it out. I mean, because it'll change your life. And by the way, every pound you lose is less that you're carrying around on your entire torso, and your joints. So you're losing 40 pounds, a big deal, especially if you're losing it up in the upper part, because that's a lot of weight and movement on some of our joints. Things start to actually heal up nicely when you start to lose weight. It's a very, very, very cool thing. We should all be back closer to, well, the weight we should have been. Some of us maybe have always been heavy, maybe not, but OTFspecial.com, OTFspecial.com. Michigan County Clerk. She discovers 239 non-citizens selected for jury duty over a 4-month period with 14 registered to vote. So this is a little scary when you think about some of these juries that they're pulling in some of these places. Kind of dawned on me. I was like, shit. So they've probably got people on these juries or in the jury pool that are of very specific nature. And maybe they only call them when they want to control cases. I just realized it's kind of like how the veil's been taken off of professional sports a little bit, and I think Mr. Rogers, Aaron Rodgers, cool, I got that. things have changed, and all of us are starting to see all the fakery, all the bullshit, and it's coming to a head. I mean, again, you can't fix something unless you see it, right? Can't measure it, you can't manage it, as they say in business school of Wharton, finance. I don't know, I probably did say that because that's like a standard thing, but the SBA is investigating $1.2 trillion on payments as part of a fraud probe. 1.2 trillion with a T. Our deficit, we're at 38 trillion. 1.2 trillion of current money going out. Fraud. They're looking into it. I don't, how much we dig into it. It's not important. There's Miss Luffler. Approximately 7,000 borrowers representing 400 million, blah, 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 blah. It's all a bunch of shit in there. So 1.2 trillion. Let's just headline that one. Questions arise over the $5.8 billion in rental assistance that the federal government's been paying. What's funny is so many people are like, it's only $5.8 billion. First off, that's 0.05 trillion, essentially. It's a shit ton of money. I think that's right. Yeah, so again, crap ton of money. And then there's all these like little places where they're like, here a billion, there a billion, everywhere a billion, billion. Old MacDonald had a farm. This is disgusting. What we've been living through. Gotta love it. Doge cancels, or the scopes. Contracts worth $1.5 billion. Again, it just keeps adding up. This is a mixture of a number of things as well. Over the last 5 days, agencies terminated and descoped 42 wasteful contracts with a ceiling value of $1.5 billion and savings of $269 million, including a $1.2 million Millennium Change Core. DEI Professional Services contract for a DCO Gender and Social Inclusion Director. I don't know, I got some new things they're doing that are smarter, I guess. Contract updates, yada, yada. So, more money there. A bunch of these things are popping up. So they are closing down. They are accomplishing what they said they would do. Congress, a giant-ass waste of time. We all see that. I think Trump's letting them do this. He's like, they're doing nothing. They haven't even gotten all my people into office. I have literally district attorneys, or whatever they're, your Piros and them. Like, I can't even get these people in office. I can't get them in. Can't get them approved through the Senate. Right? What are they? District attorneys or whatever? Anyway, I think that's what it is. Whatever. We don't have those people, and they're not putting through the crimes. They're not actually changing the laws the way they need to be federally. They're not allowed in these states because of blue slips. Trump's doing what he said he would do, and he's letting everybody else demonstrate who actually gives a crap and who doesn't. And I think we see through the actions. We'll see. Trump's going to halt federal funds to any sanctuary city / also state, period. If a state's a sanctuary state in any way, shape, or form, or if it harbors sanctuary cities, the state itself will also immediately, February 1st, no longer receive funds. Of course, federal judge is going to fight this. That's fine. It's going to bring attention to it. This is the fight. This is the year. Everybody's saying it, and we're seeing it. We're literally the 14th day of the year right now. And here we are. I love it. So Trump is halting federal funds. So this is going to be billions and billions and billions of dollars, but to multiple states, which, I mean, we can't necessarily call it saved money yet, but depending how the states play their cards, I mean, it might be money saved. We're not going to pay you past money. No, you were out of spec. You don't get that money back. No, we'll start paying you effective, and it'll be, we'll change it, adjust it, right? Prorate, they say. Stupid word. I was trying to what the hell's that damn word? Yes. So this is the war against the deep state. This is the war against the deep state states, the states that are still controlled by the deep state. Need people like us to fight for them. Of course, California gets the call out from me often because we're so awesome. Yeah. Oh, yeah. But here, literal busloads of illegals were just flown out of Minneapolis. I guess we can play this. Okay. Maybe there's no commentary over it. 4 out of 5 dentists recommend flying Somalis out of here. This could be, this... We are taking back this guy. I just think it's amazing. It's so often, so seldom when I'm actually speechless. Needless to say, they're chucking these people out of here. Thank you, Nick Sorter. Good work. He always does good work. Proud of him. John Solomon doing some reporting also on the whistleblowers that are starting to come out around Minnesota because Tim Walz is in the crosshairs in a very interesting way. I think we've got a couple stories here in regards to that punk N-word. Yeah, that guy. Here is John Solomon saying what he says.
DC. I want to begin tonight with a little more on that Somali fraud scandal rocking the state of Minnesota. Now, everybody keeps asking, will there ever be anyone put in handcuffs? Will anyone get arrested? Will anyone pay a price for what's happened to the American taxpayer and the American citizen? Well, today I interviewed Minnesota Congressman and Majority Whip Tom Emmer, and he broke some pretty important news. There's some new evidence that he says could put Governor Tim Walz in handcuffs. Listen to this.
Now, there are whistleblowers out there. Expect one or more of them to start going under oath or offering affidavits that are signed affidavits under oath, that they not only told Tim Walz about the fraud while it was happening, but that Tim Walz ignored them and in many cases retaliated against them. And
Pretty strong stuff. And later on, he says, I think this is the material that could lead to the indictment of Governor Walz. We'll have all of that over at the John Solomon Reports podcast. Go check it out. Now,
yep. So again, we are we're winning on so many fronts. There's a lot of doomers out there. I don't know if doomer's not a right word. A lot of people that are very worried, and I guess that happens. A lot of people are. They're focused on a lot of some of the outlandish kind of stuff that I think that's being thrown about too. So I think it's important. I think there's like a lot of stories that people get stuck in the weeds on, but ultimately, we've got to make changes. We've got to get to a clean election, period, or doesn't matter anyway. Nothing matters at all if we can't clean up the elections. He's taken over Venezuela, which a whole Smartmatic thing was tied to. Minnesota was definitely another place that's done some crazy illegal stuff. All of this is being brought to the attention. No matter what happens, Congress is going to be another thing. We're going to guarantee a good election. So I think there's a lot of people that aren't going to make it. You got your Masseys and people like that in the House that are gone. Probably a lot of bad Democrats for sure. And you've also got a whole crap ton of people in the Senate that are not going to make it. And I think after the first round, when a bunch of people that are rerunning for election and get primaried and lose is going to send a message loud and clear. And I think the Senate will kind of get on board. So this midterm, I believe, will be powerful. So here's what they're doing. Impeachment articles filed against Walz amid the Somali fraud scandal. 4 of them. So Article 1, violation of oath of office through concealment of fraud. Article 2, interference with oversight and investigations. Literally was screwing with whistleblowers. Article 3, prioritizing political considerations over lawful administration. And Article 4, failure to steward public funds. Yeah, they are in huge trouble. And this would be cool. Now, will he be the first arrest? What is the first arrest? All right, Trump was technically indicted, but that doesn't count, I guess, because we've still been asking what the first arrest is going to be since he got arrested, right? And then, they arrested a lot of people, Bannon and all those guys, but obviously it can't be that. So now it was like, all right, what about Maduro? Or Comey, kind of, but even Maduro. Is that an arrest? They arrested him. That's a legit arrest. They literally went into another country. Does that count as the first arrest? And I'm assuming no. So again, I don't know. What is this? Will this be one? Are we going to finally have an arrest that happens under just, we've seen a few arrests. Are we going to actually have an arrest that occurs that we're all going to be like, that's the arrest? Because I'm under the opinion that I think a lot of people expect the arrest to be a very specific group of people. If they weren't on that particular Q post or whatever, maybe, I don't know. If it wasn't Nancy Pelosi, if it's not, who knows? Oops, they're going after this guy, though. That's full show. Here is Scott Besson. I gotta say, I think I got a man crush on him. I can't help it. I know I don't mean it to be gay. I'm not gay. I swear, promise. But this dude's awesome. I don't know why he moves so much. I hope he doesn't have Parkinson's or some shit. He better be fucking okay. He better be healthy, and that just better be his like bitchy face, you know, like fucking shit. You want to fucking shit, right? Like I hope that's what that is. Anyway, I love him.
Tell us a little, just to begin, tell us a little bit about what you've uncovered about Somali fraud and some of the new policies that you've announced to try to combat it.
So, Chris, first, thanks for having me, and thanks for breaking this story, because it's clearly something that's been going on and suppressed for so long. And you could see that the people in Minnesota have been carrying this burden, and they almost seem relieved. But what we've found, two things, really three. One, this, as you reported, this waste, fraud, and abuse in the system, bigger than anyone thought, and we'll see where that goes. Two, the leakage, and how does this get out of the country? Either if you were on public assistance and you were sending money out of the country, one of two things must be true. You were getting too much assistance because you have excess funds to feed yourself, your family, food, clothing, or you've got stolen money and you're sending that out. But in either case, money needs to stay in the U.S. or your benefits need to be cut. Three, how can we use the investigations in Minnesota as a model for what's happened and push it out to the other 49 states? Because Minnesota is likely the most egregious, maybe not, we'll see. I have an open mind, but the scale, just because of the population sizes, California, Illinois, New York, that what's going on here is a microcosm of what's going on there. And it's like someone on the panel said today, benefits have been turned into businesses. It is a cottage industry of teaching people how to form multiple LLCs, how to game the system, how to move money around, and we'll see where the money goes. I'm here because what Treasury does is follow the money. We follow the money, and we have done it with the mafia, where we were able to take them down, Mexican drug cartels, and now these Somali fraudsters. And we can always do it. We'll see what kind of recoveries we can get for the American people.
Yeah, and I think
I only give him shit only because I'm far away from him. Like, and if I was in real life and actually at arm's reach, again, I have huge mad respect for the dude, but I think he would definitely kick my ass. Many suggest might have been the one that gave Musk the black eye. They're both tall. They're both big guys. And I'm guessing he fought or boxed or some shit. He seems like one of those, boxed in the, what's that business school that Trump always talks about? I've already lost it. CA's, California's, legislative. We got all sorts of crap in here, right? Legislative Analysis Office. California is failing. It's being shown to others, which is awesome. Finally, everybody, every state, I think the amount of fraud that's going to be happening here in California, how many of us homeowners are going to be so pissed? And it's going to kill probably the likelihood of any bond deals in the upcoming year, or it's going to force a lot of comeuppance to get money, because most of us people will suddenly become aware of how corrupt the corruption is. I think everyone's like, there's some corruption, but they're like, shit, really? They're taking that much? 48%, 45% of all the money is corruption? Wait, it's too much. I would say yes. I'd say any really shouldn't happen, but people are greedy. Like, that's, again, I've said this before, like types of people that end up in politics. So personally, I think we need a moral upbringing change, but we're getting there. We're getting there, people. California, again, their budget deficit is way worse than than Newsom's trying to claim. He thinks the economy is going to be significantly better than it's going to, meaning stock market. So he thinks it's going to be like, no, there's all this potential money that's going to be there for sure. And they're like, it's not. There's no numbers that comes anywhere close to what he's talking about. He's saying $18 billion. And they're saying the difference is, well, I think the difference he's saying is like 3. Yeah, 2.9 billion budget deficit, but they're saying after their analysis, and this is the state's analysis, this is the company that is supposed to look at it legally for the state, like they voted this and all that nonsense, and they're like, yeah, no, it looks more like $18 billion deficit, buddy. Liar. Newsom scrambling to keep billionaires in California. He's like, no, this wealth tax, we just joking. Woo. New York's got the same problem. They're broke. They were being kind, though, the billionaires that they give, that they would be stealing the money from. Again, right, wrong, and different. Do billionaires have probably too much money? Yes. I mean, I think the pay structure when you get into some of these corporations is ridiculous, but all said, taking their money, they're like, oh, no, we'll let you pay it over 5 years, which is like a CapEx expense, right? It's kind of funny. Over 20% over years. It's just crazy. So, yes, California's on a path to self-destruction. He's trying to suck something, and we'll see. California restricts free speech. Of course, this is true. I don't think it's legal. I'm waiting for some friggin' stupid lawyer here in this state to be like, what? I feel like any side of the fence on this one should be able to do a class action, but California's far-left Supreme Court has ordered restrictions on the speech and expressive conduct of California's lawyers at all times. Now, all the people out there, they're like admiral law versus whatever, right? I get it, okay? I had it explained to me. I'm not an expert. I don't ever want to be. I don't like that crap. I mean, I get it. No, I get it, and I think it's true. 100% on board, okay? So anybody that's going to hate me, it's like, dude, I agree with you. But this is what they're doing. Okay, hey, all the other stuff, it's cool. It's a great conversation. What's actually happening right now is they literally, the Supreme Court, they said at all times you must do this, which means during their unrelated business activities, political endeavors, and personal lives. So someone's got to almost immediately get busted for this so they can sue. That's what's going to happen. So I'm curious when they start policing this. But this was just before Christmas. The California State Bar imperiously advised the state's 200,000 lawyers, read it, declare it, mean it. The ominous warning introduces the California Supreme Court's Orwellian Rule 9.7, which requires every lawyer to attest that, as an officer of the court, I will strive to conduct myself at all times with dignity, courtesy, and integrity. Which, if you think about how many lawyers don't do that anyway. So I'm not sure if this is even meant to lock down stuff. Like, I don't know. I kind of wonder. Because doesn't it... I mean, again, it's the bar, which ties back to England. Again, I feel like I'm going to get like all these people that are going to be, yeah, here's a video you got to watch. I don't know. No. But there's so much information around where our rule of law came from. There's also some arguments that, all right, what's a better approach? I mean, there is a general kind of set of rules that sort of makes sense. Is it way crazy and needs to have a bunch of shit removed that shouldn't be there anymore? Yes. Or start it over, but same kind of concept maybe. I don't know. Kind of makes sense. It is good to have rules in society, right? Otherwise, people just do whatever the hell they want to do, and you're like, your door's open, and they just walk in, and they're like, this is my house, thank you, you need to leave, right? Like, you're like, whoa. We have a rule around here. This is my house. So again, craziness all over the place. California sucks. Balls. Speaker Johnson, he's expecting all government funding bills to pass on time as 2 more head to the floor. Good on them. I was actually right. I wasn't correct when I was guessing. I was 12 or 13. I feel like I've been saying. I hope. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, guys. But there's 12. It makes more sense. That's a typical number, but 13 is one of their weird little things too, so I didn't know. They're going to pass 2 more. I think there's still it sounds like a bunch to go before the government shutdown happens. And like I've been saying, the ones they're trying to pass are ones we actually can pay for. I don't know. I don't know if it's them spending the tariff money maybe. Right? Like, I don't know. Could be. Mike Johnson's done some. Senate's signing the first batch that went through. So I think we're up to 5 so far out of 12. And the ones that don't get funded, be very curious. That'll be a partial shutdown, I assume, because some of the government's already been funded. This was a good video. I actually watched. There was a point where they were carrying her around. There was, I don't know, 3 or 4 of them. Many people, I want to play it, but I'm sure it would get me in trouble somewhere. I'm sure it would get me in trouble somewhere. But they pull her out of the vehicle. They're carrying her here. This is the start of it. So we've already got a carrying, and they try to get to this vehicle, right? And they're like, we can't get into it. Someone, keys? Anyone? Nope. And they're like, fuck, not my car, man. And they're like, fuck, okay. So they're like carrying her around to the next vehicle, just chilling, carrying her, still carrying her. I mean, so she effed around and found out. I mean, there's no question about it. And they told her to leave. They just like literally, I mean, I'd play it for you, but I'm sure I'd get in trouble. But they're like, go. There's like multiple people pointing fingers. She's like, I know, but I just have a question. Like, I don't know what she was exactly saying. It's like, wait, they're telling you to get the F out. Madame, please. And then they don't. It's like, all right. She didn't die. They didn't shoot her. They carried her around like a freaking rucksack. Well, actually, no, something like that. Literally, I think there was 4 people carrying her. Each one had a limb. They're probably going to play it in a bad way. I thought it was awesome. I want to see if I can get a poster made of it. It'd be fantastic. The Supreme Court on Wednesday is reviving this Illinois Congress member's lawsuit. They actually voted on this, by the way. This is the one where I believe the dude was on the ballot, and they kept going with the counting of ballots after the day of the election. I think this has to do with that anyways. And his whole thing was he wanted to be able to sue because he felt it was costing him extra money, and he wasn't really budgeting. He's like, well, how long do we continue? How long's the actual election cycle? Because normally the day of the election, I've spent all my money. Woo! But he's like, no, I've got to hold over reserves, and I want to sue for that because I don't think that's fair. And they're saying, no, you don't have standing. You can't have standing. And the Supreme Court's like, yeah, he does. No, he has standing. So this means anybody on the ballot, I think, that gets effed over by the election people can now sue. They have standing. It's going to be beautiful. This is, again, folks, this is a legal, like, there's so many, I think this is the building of the new world, if you will, is happening. It's got to happen kind of step by step from a legal standpoint, right? There's actually got to be case law to build on top of. All you lawyer people get it. You're like, shit, you're right. I mean, shit, guys, put some stuff out in regards to it because you could probably stack it better. You know how to look up a lot of that crap and how it fits together like at Legos. But what's happening right now is a legal foundation being created for what's to come. Freaking awesome. So 7-2, by the way. Who wants to bet Jumanji was in that list of 2? And I don't know who the other, Sonia Mayor, of course. Of course. Of course. Kentaji Jackson Brown. I think when they pull her out of there, just to be, no, they can't. It's Brown Jackson. I always want to say Jackson Brown. It's mean, right? And ruin his music for her? No. Yeah, no, it's the other way around. We destroy her and we call her Jumanji. I love this stuff. Secret Service agents placed on leave. This is the dude, my buddy that can dance. He can, James O'Keefe. Yeah, that guy. Dancing man. I love that video. It still cracks me up. But yeah, he basically caught this Secret Service guy admitting sensitive stuff that you're not supposed to do. He got busted. He lost his job. And James O'Keefe, good on you, buddy. He's keeping it on. So yeah, they got a glimpse of some of the crazy text messages that these guys, or the information he sent, which is very concerning. But I think good for the public to know that we literally have proof of this leakage. Now, Tomas, who knows how many undeclared sources or anonymous sources were this dude when it came to anything coming out of the Secret Service? He was hanging out with Vance. You kind of think of how that leaking stuff happens. I think that's how they're finding some of these people. And maybe, just maybe, Trump administration, because I've seen O'Keefe there many a time, maybe he's like, hey, somebody, maybe Karen, text him and go, hey, here's a guy to maybe do a little something on, dress up like a girl, and go see if he'll talk to you. Oh, it's beautiful. And there's been some where you're like, how do you not recognize him? Schools increasingly consider rewarding teachers for results, not seniority. This is happening predominantly in Texas, it seems like anyways. But, yeah, getting paid based off of whether or not your students are passing the tests proficiently and how many of them do. And if you've got good numbers, you're a good teacher. And we'll reward you for that, and you'll continue to be promoted. If that's not the case, they now have the ability to fire you, which, frankly, I love. I think the teachers union is one of the unions that has way too much power. And I also think the nursing union, they took over industries, these unions. They took over our education, and it became communist. Interesting coincidence. They've taken over our hospitals, and I don't know, feels like flight attendants, frankly, right? I don't know if you guys feel like that when you fly. And no offense to anybody that's a flight attendant. I understand you got all these rules that you got to do and follow. They fucked flying up after 9/11, it's all I know, right? But it still sucks being the experiencer of it sometimes. You're just like, that's right. It's like teacher. It's like the crosswalk person. You guys ever sort of slowly pulled up to a crosswalk while someone was walking with the sign and they literally push it at you? The sign, like, fucking see what this says? Ah, gets me every time. It's like, what? If you had magic powers, you'd fucking flip my car over probably, yeah. I think it was a good rant. I don't know. I like it. I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave that in there. That's what happens. All this crap. Sachs, Bergdorf, and Neiman Marcus. Saks Fifth Avenue. I don't know what Bergdorf actually is. Even if I had money. Bergdorf Goodman. I wouldn't even buy stupid shit like this unless I fucking had to. I can't imagine why I would have to. Would I go to one of them, or would I'd probably just try to find somebody to frickin' make me one. Anyway, whatever. Dude, ruining us. Trump admin in Taiwan. Those guys are all going bankrupt. They're just going to restructure. There you go, the story. Trump admin in Taiwan close to finalizing trade pact, $100 billion deal. They're going to lower the tariffs 5%. This is pissing off China. This is what it's all about right now. China got cut out of Venezuela. China lost Venezuelan oil. That Venezuelan oil was super cheap. China lost that. We took it from them and Russia. And Russia was definitely feeding some stuff to them, I think, for processing. So this is a big deal. This is a big fuck you to China. China's kind of being pushed and compressed. And they, frankly, don't have the power to do anything else. China's pissed about, like I said, the Iran tariffs and all the bullshit. They're also pissed, too, and I don't know if I've got it somewhere else, but Trump's he's literally making deals with Taiwan to get a lot of their chip manufacturing moved here to Arizona, oddly. The dryness probably a big part of it, but still nonetheless. Yeah, that's a lot, like 5 factories, quite a bit of stuff they're talking about. Pretty serious story. I hope I have it somewhere, but all that said, so, Jesus, what did I have it at? I chopped it. Wow. I chopped it when it was up $5.14. It was at $91,480. Right now it's sitting at $92.52. Silver. Silver is on fire. It's not too late. This is definitely something. I mean, first off, people are buying silver like crazy right now. This is what you're starting to see. Some of the panic buying. Any of you guys got deals going, I would get those pushed. Any of you that haven't started, I would go to drslikesgold.com. drslikesgold.com. Goldco's got a number of suppliers. I haven't heard anything from them yet. I haven't had any, so they're still pulling this off. We're still getting up to 10% free silver. So if you got a 401k or an IRA, okay, one of those. Unfortunately, this doesn't work pensions and crap like that, and they just don't have access to the funds. Those are kept within those pools. But this 401k IRA, specifically pre-tax money, essentially, I don't know if there's other stuff that qualifies. If you've got pre-tax, there's some other weird names, but you can move that over tax-free, penalty-free. You move it sideways, you're not actually given the funds at any point of the transaction. It's done sideways, which is good. You're going to get as much of it moved as possible. And then from there, they buy precious metals and everything else. Go to drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. Gold is the inflation number. And you want some of that for sure. You want a bunch of that, frankly. It's great. It holds buying power. I can buy the same thing back in 1913 with this that I can now. When you think of Federal Reserve notes, this is $100 is what they call this, right? 100 as 1 ounce gold. It's $100 U.S. Treasury. Yet right now, gold's at $46.47. That's how many Treasury notes it takes to equal $100. Or essentially what? 46 Federal Reserve notes. Or 46 times its value's been lost or whatever. I have to do the numbers better. But still, it holds your buying power. Silver is multiplying. Silver is going into a weird scarcity. They're going to need to mine more. This is going to be part of this transfer. This is also destroying a lot of the banks. This is going to break that whole paper contract thing. When that finally does happen, this is going to get interesting, and some banks are going down in a big way. And it's going to be, there's no too big to fail. No, they failed. They're done. Any debt they had to the whatever is done, right? So we'll see. DRSlikesgold.com. DRSlikesgold.com. You don't want to be tied up in that nonsense. You want to get out of their system. You want to make sure you have the upper hand. They are, they're trying to destroy us, the best they can. And I don't think they're pulling it off. I think they are with a lot of people. There's a lot of people that don't know what's going on. I think my audience is very informed. 4 data points, get out of there. And tax-free, penalty-free, up to 10% free silver. Take advantage of that while you can. Up to 10% free silver. And also, you're going to get cool Ronald Reagan coin if you can call in 20 minutes, which is a big, big score. It's 0.99% pure. Well, supplies last, of course, but I haven't heard anything yet. They haven't warned me, but they are the company to go with. They the best customer service. They can't tell you what to do, but they'll certainly tell you what's going on, what the options are. This is what some people do, but it's not our advice, and that's what we can't give you advice. But we can say, and I've been showing, that's one thing I've been showing for years now. I've been with Goldco forever. I love them, and they highly who I recommend. But they the prices have been going exactly where I said they would. I mean, I've been trying to stay on top of this stuff. We're at 92.45 right now for silver. That's just crazy. It's about to break 100. They're freaking out. They're freaking out. If they finally not able to print paper contracts, if that's happened at all in the background, this is the kind of stuff you'll see, and they'll have to stop the trading or something at some point if it goes too high. I don't know what the amount is. What is it, 8, 10%, 5%? I thought it was 5% or something. So maybe they've stopped the trading even on it at one point today. It doesn't look like it. So things to keep in mind, guys. Get out of that system. DRSlikesgold.com. DRSlikesgold.com. I can't even get that off the screen. That's how important that is. There you go. FBI. They're raiding the WAPO reporter's home in a classified docs case. They are taking her Fitbit, which will prove where she's been. That's why you don't wear shit like this, guys. People do. They accused taking classified intelligence. They took our phone or some other thing. I don't know. You know, it's funny. I read this from some other place, and the information gets stuck in your head. Why did I say it was her phone? And the Fitbit. That's what made me laugh. Garmin watch. There it is. Well, Fitbit, Garmin, whatever. Much nicer, I'm sure, the Garmin. But FBI seized the phone and Fitbit type device. All right, whatever, Dan. You suck. Good to see. What do we got here? Oh, yeah, Greenland. This is everybody's freaking out about Greenland. I love it. I don't know. I honestly feel like this is almost maybe a distraction to us, to White Hats. Keep us off their trail and other stuff so they can just get some shit done because we're constantly sniffing up their butts. They're like, dude, just let us do some sneaky stuff for a while. Stop figuring it out before we do it.
Men en ting skal alle forstå. Grønland vil ikke ejes af USA.
So true.
Grønland vil ikke styres af USA.
Wow. Yeah, so I think basically instead of all that, all that, which we'll probably have to figure out how to talk to each other at some point. Greenland, he says, will not be owned by the United States. Greenland will not be governed by the United States. Greenland will not be part of the United States. And then a giant volcano opened up underneath. I think they cut it off before that. No, it didn't happen. I'm kidding. That would be crazy. But we don't care. We don't understand what he's saying. So he's just saying it was the 4 people that are in front of him. Dog sled community. I don't know. Can't be too scary. Donald Trump truth this. He goes, hey, look, the United States needs Greenland for the purposes of national security. It is vital for the Golden Dome that we are building. NATO should be leading the way for us to get it. If we don't, Russia or China will, and that is not going to happen. Militarily, without the vast power of the United States, much of which I built during my first term and am now bringing to a new and even higher level, NATO would not be an effective force or deterrent, not even close. They know that, and so do I. NATO becomes far more formidable and effective with Greenland in the hands of the United States. Anything less than that is unacceptable. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President DJT. Again, some different stuff being stated in different ways. There's times where he spells it out, times he doesn't. Ooh, sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. He's doing this for a reason. He is definitely operating from 2 different standpoints. We've got the corporation that is bankrupt or is going however this is playing out. And we've got the new system, I think, that's kind of being spun up. Especially the stuff that's being passed, oddly, in January. Everything's been passed in January this year. And again, fiscal year supposedly started in October, but that's the corporation's fiscal year. Maybe the United States government was always on a calendar year as a fiscal year. And maybe we're back to that now. And so we're passing bills now. And the tariffs are paying for it. I think the transition's a lot further along than people realize, and most people don't even realize it's already like way underway. China elbows into Greenland debate. They're like, hey, Denmark's got a point here. All right, whatever, China, shut up. First off, your radar didn't even see us coming in when we flew into Venezuela. Your best radar that's supposed to detect stealth craft didn't even see us. China. Love you guys, though, by the way. I love your food and your people. That said, NATO, tell Denmark to get them out of here now. These 2 dog sleds won't do it. Only the USA can. Well, you undersell the dog sled, sir. Undersell it. No, I mean, yeah, you got a problem 5, 6, 7 miles out there? We'll get there in about 13, 14 minutes. Probably way faster than no, it's not that quick, but yeah, come on. Can't get anywhere at all. UK, yeah, UK, you actually deserve your own section today. My goodness, what's going on with you guys? First off, yeah, you guys got problems with X and Grok right now, but Pornhub's still okay. Still okay. You don't have any investigations going on against Pornhub. Same minors could get into that or possibly see stuff. But X and Grok, because it's put Keir Starmer, so I have a finger up my butt. Like it's Keir, is that my finger up my butt, Starmer? But yeah, I'll end up on a hit list. U.S. vows to unleash full arsenal of tools against UK PM Starmer's war on free speech. They're like, literally, we got some stuff we're going to do. I'm going to play some of these. I thought they were pretty good. I'm going to string them all together. There's 4 different sets of questions this chick gets, right? And it talks about the ban and the way people are and the way they're behaving when it comes to this chick. Here it is. Yeah, there's like 4 of these. And she was talking on GB News there. I don't know, they have accents, sort of, but she sounds like she's speaking for America. Anyway, she's Undersecretary of State Sarah B. Rogers. Sarah Rogers. I like my martini shaken, not stirred. And all these things react well to bullets or this girl. Needless to say, we are going to play these. I hope you guys appreciate what she's talking about, because, yeah, we are literally, I think, telling UK, look, you go ahead and want to cancel them out. You want to say you can't be in this country, that's fine, but you are not going to come after it and stifle free speech. And if you guys want to stifle free speech in Britain, we're going to talk about it heavily, and you guys are going to look horrible. Basically, in a nutshell. Here it is.
Trying to conflate speech and violence is something that advocates of censorship have done for a long time. If the UK bans X, it won't be the first country to do so. Russia bans X, Venezuela bans X, Iran bans X. Free societies generally don't. Now, notice the sleight of hand that Liz Kendall is doing there, because the topic of the day is a potential ban of X, and she speaks more narrowly about non-consensual intimate images being illegal. Guess what, Bev? There are already laws against revenge porn, and there are already laws against defamation. So if you were to depict someone credibly in a way that could be mistaken for a real image of that person, depicting that person in some kind of sexual degrading scenario that she'd never undertaken herself, you could already be sued under existing legal devices. And creating a new legal device isn't out of the question. Our First Lady Melania Trump has championed a statute called the Take It Down Act, which would give the victim of that image a notice and takedown remedy, similar to what we have for copyright. I think cautious regulation is the best approach here, but when you're at a new technological frontier, sometimes there's a temptation to just enact a flurry of new technological regulations designed to put that technological innovation back in the bottle. We saw this with the invention of the telegraph. We saw this with the invention of the film strip. And when you look back at history at each of those moments, which you discover, and which you wish your forebears would have known, is that sometimes people just need to get used to the real technology. They need to get used to these images not being real. And I smiled before because I think you and I are both female public figures and have both had images of us created. And I can see why people would find those images uncomfortable. But I'm willing to be a bit uncomfortable if that's what it takes to be free. And that's the promise of a free society.
The way she talks trips me out. And no, it's not from another country, but yeah, the way she's making fun of me almost. But yeah, it's funny. Trippy voice. Yeah, so anyway, long story. The British government cared about women's safety. They'd actually be going after the grooming gangs. That's one thing she calls out, which is pretty harsh. Keir Starmer has said that nothing is off the table. And she says, and I would say from America's perspective, that likewise, nothing is off the table when it comes to free speech. And then finally, Americans will feel disappointed, but frankly, I can't say that we'll be shocked. They're possibly going to have to, for a point in time, say X is no longer allowed in this country. Again, though, we'll point out all the hypocrisies about how Pornhub and all the different things. So then is UK going to go full terrorist on its own people? Probably will, because this will be the one that everybody will get behind, right? All the progressive people, maybe. I don't know. I don't know how your guys' elections are either, especially with us taking down Venezuela. I wonder if that affects you guys too. You're still trying to get an election, by the way. I think you had 1 million votes or something. Over 1 million have signed the petition demanding a general election in Britain. Oh, see, he's got that look. He's always, something happened. Something happened. Yeah, Farage looks chill. He's like, nah, man, I just smoked a J. This guy, someone poked him in the butt. This guy, nah, man, we'll be fine. I'm hanging with Snoop. Rupert Lowe, he's an MP. Thank you very much. He did say something kind of cool, though. He goes, we won. Starmer abandons plans for compulsory digital ID. This is a huge win. Well done to everyone who has been fighting from all political parties and none. A team effort. It proves that we can make progress when we come together to fight this appalling Labour government. It does sound like maybe they actually accomplished some shit, so I don't know. We'll see. It makes no sense. We'll get day 2. Some people that are British will talk about it and be like, no, it's Britishy. You have to be British to understand it. Yes. You have to have used to be having bangers in your mouth all day long. I'm kidding. Not trying to be a dick to my my banger lovers. Top Trump ally, Orban, apparently is maybe going to be having a tough election. There's somebody that's running against him that's pretty tight and hot. And he's, I don't know, he's maybe been having a hard time because economic stagnation, which, being a part of Europe sucks. He's been outspoken, which has probably hurt him a little bit. I'm sure EU made some shit tariff deals for anything that really affected Hungary. I'm sure there's some very specific stuff. And then they're also pissed about the Russian oil, but there's no other way to do it. They'd be starved without it. There's countries surrounding it that hate NATO. They're like, no. Poor Hungary. Right in the middle of the hornet's nest. Egyptian army holding billions in cash. So the Egyptian, just to skinny on this, the Egyptian government, essentially, has gone broke. There's a loan repayment to the International Monetary Fund, the IMF. It was due at the end of December, sorry. $750 million. The numbers almost don't matter. They're so big it doesn't matter. And the Egyptian government didn't pay it, which is a big no-no. It starts setting into all these different things that start to jack the country. Now, the Egyptian military actually has a bunch of cash. Apparently more than enough to pay for this paltry amount of money. But they're not going to. And they don't have to. They're not, they haven't agreed to these deals the government agreed to, and the money and funds they have are theirs. And this does remind me of some of the interesting discussions we've had around the United States government and, well, I should say, the Constitution, essentially, and the military. The fact that they have been protecting us. If it wouldn't have been for the military, Trump was actually commander-in-chief through 3 terms now, we know. Pretty sure, anyways. And so here we are in a world where other countries are probably going to go through something similar. And it sounds like Egypt is losing its government, shedding or the deep state component of itself, if you will. The corporation, probably. This is a very cool time. We'll see how it plays out. Them missing and the fact that the military is not paying, it tells you one thing. The military, one, wants to make sure they can stay funded, and 2, they're like, this land is our land. Don't give a hell what you say, IMF. And, yeah, MF, and to me, is, is a mom effer. So I come up with a good something, I'm sure. I don't want to say it, though. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, he's got this right now. Today, on behalf of President Trump, we are announcing the launch of Phase 2 of the President's 20-point plan to end the Gaza conflict, moving from ceasefire to demilitarization, technocratic governance, and reconstruction. Phase 2 establishes a transitional technocratic Palestinian administration in Gaza, the National Committee for the Administration of Gaza, the NCAG, and begin the full demilitarization, hard to say, and reconstruction of Gaza, primarily of disarmament of the unauthorized personnel. The U.S. expects Hamas to fully comply with its obligations, including the immediate return of the final deceased hostage. Failure to do so will bring serious consequences. Importantly, Phase 1 delivered historic humanitarian aid, maintained the ceasefire, returned all living hostages and the remains of 27 of the 28 deceased hostages. We are deeply grateful to the Egypt, Turkey, and Qatar for their indispensable mediation efforts made in all this. So a lot of transition is occurring right now. Governments literally going bankrupt. Iran involved in many ways, and we're finding out a lot of strange stuff. It's 2 minutes, I'm not playing, but there's a forensic expert in Iran that's saying deaths of protesters are not caused by the Iranian government. I think there's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to be said that everybody and their mothers heard. Oh, somebody I know that's in there. There's this person I'm friends with that their family's there. Like, whatever the case is. There's going to be so much bullshit information floating around. It's hard to trust anything. And I'm going to go by what Trump's actions are personally. We can all do whatever we want, of course. But, yeah, personally, I'm gonna kind of see. Because right now we're hearing crazy numbers for deaths. which, I mean, some are anywhere. The lowest number is ridiculous. And then the highest numbers are like fudge. Like, that's sick, ridiculous. So, again, what sort of scenario could you do to, how do you respond militarily, if you will, to fix this? I mean, they're using the police on the streets for a large extent, and then jails. I mean, what do you blow up the jail? It's going to be a weird little tactic. I don't know what they're going to do. You can't use tariffs. I mean, I feel like they might pull out Khomeini, and if they get a chance to, they might do it, and that wouldn't surprise me. Kind of see how they all play out. Donald Trump had something to say about what's going on with this whole Iran situation. He said he was just going back.
Going back to the White House now. We're going to look at the whole situation that's going on in Iran. It's really bad stuff. Minnesota is going to have to take care of itself for a little while. We have tremendous theft and fraud going on in that state because you have an incompetent governor, grossly incompetent governor, and a corrupt governor. But we'll straighten that out. But Iran is on my mind when I see the kind of death that is happening over there, we think. So we're going to get some accurate numbers. I'll have them in about 20 minutes. We'll get some accurate numbers as to what's happening with regard to the killing. The killing looks like it's significant, but we don't know yet for certain. I'll know within 20 minutes. So, and we'll act accordingly.
And again, like, some of it's like, is it happening from outsiders? Like, there's rumors that some of these people are coming from other countries and taking pop shots. But, man, at range, you'd have to be a hell of a sniper, and you'd have to have a bunch of really good snipers. That's a little outlandish. I could see popping a few people here and there maybe, but everybody? Mm-hmm. Now, this is something that's being spun in a fun way. Carrie Lake, senior advisor to the U.S. Agency for Global Media, right, USAGM, under President Trump, has blocked Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty, from using a powerful transmitter operated by the USAGM in Kuwait to broadcast news and protest updates into Iran. They were controlling the message the deep state was trying to inspire and was inspiring. Carrie Lake has come and found about this, if you will, or whatever. She's now shutting it down. Obviously, all right, we'll never know the exact parts of it, but yeah, probably broadcasting stuff that was working for the government. They shut it down. Trump is letting Iran have their country back. Iran issued sickening assassination threat against Trump. Now, whoever initiated this will depend who they are. First off, I don't think it was part of the presidency. Maybe, I don't know. I'm hearing more this is around Khomeini and all that nonsense. That guy's been there for like 7.5 generations, forever. Not that long. I think Iran's been under control of Islamic law for a long time. And that needs to change. And they're not going to get along with the world under those circumstances. Basically, it's kind of like communism. Doesn't work. China is going to continue to exist with this world, but just not as communist. Be pretty awesome. So, again, these threats, depends who they came from. We'll see. If there's a legitimate person, Trump's going to smoke them. You know that. Like, just to make a point. U.S. military is opening a new air defense coordination cell in Qatar. Again, a lot of happenings with Qatar. They agreed to buy a bunch of planes from Boeing. Qatar is letting us use a giant military base there, which is right in the middle of all the action. And it's top of the line. So we're friggin' stoked. We're probably upgrading it even further. So, yeah, we're putting some assets in play. Almost like something's going to be going on. Certainly over by Iran, but certainly around this base. Like, we're going in to stay. We're putting in infrastructure to hang out. And this could tie into the dome as well. These might be things that are easily convertible or a part of it or the optics or whatever. Who knows? Something to it. We got some personnel at key U.S. base in Qatar. They were told to evacuate. So they're expecting, military only, basically. If you're just there hanging out, doing that Qatari thing that everybody loves to do, you've done it, right? Me neither. But yeah, if you're there and you shouldn't be, get out. GTFO. Iran's calling for swift punishment for detained protesters. This is the big question: how many people are actually being killed? And we don't know, frankly, at the moment. We'll get some numbers. Trump will make a response, and he might not say anything now. He's like, all right, I've seen what's really going on, and they're probably choosing the plan. And he'll do some sort of bullshit speech, maybe. Might do something live, hopefully. We'll see. Spy Center. This is England. I should have had this with the England stuff, sorry. But China plans a secret room near sensitive cables in London mega embassy. They're literally building this underground room right next to where all the sensitive information goes through. Literally, UK, what is going on with you? You've literally, you are the deep state and you're trying to hand it over to China. Man. So sad. So sad. All these people talking intelligent for no reason. South Korea taking the death penalty, by the way, for the dude that supposedly tried to do his martial law thing. You guys remember that leader that did that? I don't know. Whatever happens. I never know who's on what side of anything right now. I don't know if South Korea's... he's making deals with them, so maybe the person up there is cool, and this dude was a deep state pile of trash. Whatever the case is, they gave him the death sentence. Daggone, as they would say. As Burchett would say, oh yeah. I like Aaron Rodgers. For any of you guys that hate me for that, I don't really care, to be honest with you. But I like him. He's not my team. I just love that he's an older player. I love the fact that he's conservative and he's spoke his mind. He's been one of the few people that actually did that, especially through COVID. I don't believe he got vaccinated. It doesn't matter per se, but he's been one of the many people that have been beat up on. And I always have mad love, no matter what side of the political fence you are or coming from. Nicki Minaj, another fun example. But Russell Crowe, Russell Brand, another good example. There's just a lot of people that were very left-leaning. Bill Maher, maybe, that are coming along with us. And it's good because some of these people are funny, and this guy's an excellent athlete that's going to be, hopefully, with his gruffness, I want to see him on TV. I love this guy. I'd love to hear him commentate color commentary on games. Anyway, I don't normally talk sports, but I love this dude anyway. Long-winded.
This league has changed a lot in my 21 years. When you hear a conversation about the Mike Tomlins of the world, Matt LaFleur's of the world, those are just two that kind of I've played for. And when I first got in the league, there wouldn't be conversation about whether those guys were on the hot seat. But the way that the league is covered now, and the way that there's snap decisions, and the validity given to the Twitter experts and all the experts on TV now who make it seem like they know what the hell they're talking about. To me, that's an absolute joke. And for either of those two guys to be on the hot seat is really apropos of where we're at as a society and a league, because obviously Matt's done a lot of great things in Green Bay, and we had a lot of success. Mike T has had more success than damn near anybody in the league, for the last 19, 20 years. And more than that, though, when you have the right guy and the culture is right, you don't think about making a change. But there's a lot of pressure that comes from the outside, and obviously that sways decisions from time to time, but it's not how I would do things and not how the league used to be.
Again, yeah, he's just talking about the fakery, the bullshit, the way it's changed, the way it's been trying to take control of it, or the way it's being freed and exposed. And I got one final story, I think, here. FCC moves to shut down smartphone unlocking loophole. This is interesting. I had never heard of this before. Apparently, as best I can tell from reading all this crap, a chunk of it anyways, smartphones have this weird thing where if they don't connect for an extended period of time, up to so many weeks, months, then they can send a unlock code. And so we've got a situation where a lot of people steal them for that very reason. They take the phones, hang on to them long enough, are able to unlock them, and now they got a phone, and they can sell it as a new device. And a lot of people are doing this, and probably all sorts of data on those phones too, if you think about it, which could be scary if you think about that. Any of you cool people out there that take pictures, you shouldn't. Love that. But yeah, so Brandon Card changed that that rule. It used to be 60-day lock. After task force moved from an earlier policy of a 1-year lock to Verizon's 60-day lock. So I think they're undoing that. Only major provider require unlock its handset 60 days after activation, which is earlier than standard industry practice. Anyway, yeah. And Verizon's got a lot of phones. Anyway. Okay, that's last story. That's all I got. Guys, I love you. Say things are happening. They're happening quickly, and we are going to... It's going to be fun. Again, a lot of this is movie, sure, but there's certain things we can see happening. Ron, I'm not sure how that one's going to play out. I mean, I got some ideas, but I don't even want to try to guess. I don't think, it's fun to, but put it in comments if you want. Hey, make sure you subscribe. Also, remember, if you guys want to be people that had the, the link with the OTF special stuff, the Feel Great or the Unicity, or however you say it. It is, it's really awesome products. And if you're somebody that's kind of expanding in a way where you can do advertising, it makes a lot of sense. It's something that changes people's lives, and a lot of people are overweight in this country. Think about that. So your market's not bad. All said, I love you guys. We're certainly doing this together the best I can. Where we go one, we freaking go all, baby. It's on the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.